I was tempted to start today by saying, my fellow South Africans, when it comes to rebuilding our economy, we are doomed. But I felt that would leave you feeling a little unsettled. But perhaps unsettled is where we should be, because when it comes to rebuilding our economy, we've got a mammoth task ahead of us. The unemployment stats came in at a record high of 34.4%. There's an extended study that gets included in this of people who've actually stopped looking for employment due to the long unemployment. And when you add them, the number goes up to 44.4%. That means that in a working population of nearly 40 million, almost half are unable to find employment, feed their families. This is staggering and alarming. I wasn't surprised when I heard the statistics come out. I mean, it's been a long time to get to this moment. We've all heard the stories of how we're going to resolve it. We're going to create new jobs. We're going to support small business. We're going to fund entrepreneurs. We're going to get government grants, none of which we've actually seen a lot of traction on. What did surprise me, though, is how all of us saw the headline and went back to our normal lives like nothing happened. It's almost like we're all hoping there's an adult in the room. Well, this is our generation's problem now. We're the adults in the room, and we have to figure out solutions that only our generation can. We have to look at ways that are unique to us and use what we have. And if it means that we need to restructure formal structures that exist, that's exactly what we must do. Entrepreneurship holds the key to unlocking our economic potential. And over the past decade, we've made great inroads, bringing in new entrepreneurs and dropping down the barrier to entry. That's no longer enough, though. You see, not only do we have to bring in more and more entrepreneurs onto the market, we now need a higher rate of success as well. It's no longer just about the quantity, it's about the quality. The failure rate of entrepreneurship sits at 50% of ones started in the first 24 months. And this is due to the inability and experience of the owner. It is common in markets where there's high unemployment and low education that most entrepreneurs or most small businesses start because of desperation or lack. But that in turn means that the owner doesn't have any access to funding, access to networks. And they likely have very limited knowledge in the skills required to start a business or run a business. Anything from designing a business model or actually running a budget. We need models that can accommodate this, that actually understand the limitations. The entrepreneurship ecosystem has government, funders, incubators, accelerators, as well as venture capitalists, all of whom we always go to find answers. I'd like us today to just take a moment and consider what corporate can do in the space, the role they can play in finding us ways to create quality entrepreneurs. I've been in corporate for 18 years as a marketing strategist. And in that time, I've seen how resource-rich these environments are. But most importantly, how these resources, when used correctly, have great impact. I've also spent time on the parallel lane as an entrepreneur and a business coach, and I know firsthand what those environments need. I truly believe that there's something there. The game changer will come from corporate in finding ways to create quality skills around our entrepreneurs. And it's just going to require corporate rethinking their role in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. Currently, corporates see themselves as competitors to startups, especially the ones that are growing fairly quickly, or as supporters, opening up their value chain to allow them to grow within their environments. Other models we've seen is where big business buys small business because either it complements their business model or it actually threatens their growth. The mindset shift that we need is for corporates to start seeing themselves less as competitors and more as accelerators, incubators and investors in small business. That's the mindset shift we need. In this way, they can start looking to traditional accelerators for the tried and tested models of how this can work, which essentially take in entrepreneurs, groom them for growth, and help them scale their businesses. Corporates are ripe and ready for this. It's almost like they've been preparing for it without realizing it. Think about it. Corporates are execution machines. Year after year, they have models that actually build new ways of doing business. They have networks that are global. They understand the regulatory environment. They have access to many more resources than entrepreneurs have, and these are the things entrepreneurs need. They have equitable brands that you can draw from. My favorite part about corporate, what I like the most, is the people. Corporate has employees, and these are people who are already exposed to business and are proficient in the language of actually running a business. They understand how to create plans and do budgets. They are already in the space, and their exposure is valuable. Our generation's employees are different. They see ideas and they want to innovate on it. They actually create that innovation, sometimes internally as entrepreneurs, or they run their own business parallel to their 9-to-5. Many of us have side businesses. We call them side hustles. Many of us believe that with the right investment and the right attention and resources, those side hustles can become our main hustle. So why have we not crossed over from corporate to entrepreneurship? Well, the entrepreneurship ecosystem hasn't designed an effective bridge to move talent from one corporate side to entrepreneurship side. And I'm not talking about a cushioned crossover, because entrepreneurship is difficult and does require a level of risk. I understand that. But what we're talking about here is the ability to migrate those who definitely have a high risk factor. And in our economy, that's most of us. Most of us are first generation graduates and professionals in our families. That's a lot of pressure. Not only that, most of us are the sole breadwinners in our immediate families and our extended families. So the risk we're talking about is not only to one person, it's a multiple. We're not crossing over, and who can blame us? These are some of the challenges that a corporate accelerator model can start to address differently from the models that we currently have in entrepreneurship. So why would corporates take this on? They have a lot to deal with at the moment. Simple, survival. If you're a leader in a corporate today, you're probably grappling with yourself and your teams, asking, how will you compete? How will you stay ahead? How will you get connected to this new digital consumer? Leaders of big business know that they have to disrupt themselves before they get disrupted by a new agile player. Corporates in their nature need access to new thinking. They need access to innovation, and they need the know-how on how to be agile, something that startups and entrepreneurs fully represent. But by participating in a program such as a corporate accelerator program, it also means that you are actually able to attract talent, key talent. We've all seen those job descriptions that say, must be entrepreneurial or must have entrepreneurship skills. While the people who have those skills, they know their value and they are very selective about the organizations that they choose to work with. Knowing that their ideas will likely be taken on board or even accelerated, that is an attractive proposition for this caliber of talent. So we know what corporates need, and we know the access and resources they can provide. We know what entrepreneurs need, and we know the agility, innovation, and newness they can bring to any environment. This is a value match, and one that can accelerate entrepreneurship at a rapid rate. If you're an entrepreneur today, challenge corporates. Ask them, where's their corporate entrepreneurship model? If you're an entrepreneur, an employee, work on your concept, polish it, test it, and challenge your leaders to commercialize it with you and fight for your ownership. If you're a leader in a corporate, ask yourself where your future growth is going to come from. The future I see is one where the top 100 companies listed on the stock exchange not only report back on their financials at the end of the year or their performance, but actually give us their traction on the startups and entrepreneurs that they've incubated. That would be 100 new, carefully mentored, well-resourced startups than we had before. Imagine that year after year after year. Imagine the compounding effect. That right there is the momentum, the domino we need to actually start the startup boom required to reboot our economy. Thank you.